So here program, I want to allocate memory for two-dimensional array. In the last class we have discussed that if we allocate two-dimensional array, logically it seems a two-dimensional array, but actually in memory it is being allocated in contiguous space. Like if I declare an array ARR and its size is the 10, I want to print the addresses of the which is being allocated for this array, okay, for each and every element. So I will print the address, so it will be percentile p address of ARR I. Okay, I want to print address of ARR I. Okay, so I will include it in a loop. So for I equals to 0, I less than, so here it's 10 and plus plus. Just running a loop to print the address of each and every element. Now so if I print
Sir,
this,
percentile P means what?
percentile p will basically print the address in hexadecimal format. This one will print the address in hexadecimal format. Like if I run this program, you can see. Okay. Just I shall use I will use new line. So this loop will run, and for each and every element it will print the address as we have used ampersand of ARRI. So the address of ith element will be printed. So you can check it here. So the address, if the first address of the first element is 0060 FEE0, it's an integer data type. That's why the next address will be E4, then 8. So it will be incremented by 4 bytes. Okay, so the value will be incremented by 4. So if we do not use percentile p, if I use percentile d, what will happen? Then it will print in numeric form. Okay, so this is the address. It is being printed in numeric form. Again, you can see that the value is being incremented by 4. Okay, but sometimes this value can be negative if you use percentile d, as
The
it's a
percentile U, it will not work.
percentile.
Percentile U.
Yeah, so we have discussed. So if we use percentile d, then the problem is again the value can be printed as negative, but we know that the address cannot be negative. The value of this can be negative. The reason is if we represent it using percentile d, it's a signed value, signed integer. So if the first bit of this address is 1, then it will be treated as negative value. Okay, that's why we should use, instead of percentile d, we should use percentile u. Okay, so we should use percentile u here. But if we want to print the value, we want to print address, and I want to print the value in hexadecimal format, then we will use percentile p. Okay, now you can see that this memory is contiguous. So this memory which is being allocated, this is a contiguous memory space. Okay, is there any doubt? Now let me declare an array of size 5 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so I want to print the address of each and every element. Okay, so if I want to access the address of ith row jth column, then I will be started from 0 I less than 5 number of rows. Now here I will use another loop. Here I will use another loop, and in this loop I will use index j. So j equals to 0. How many columns are there? 3. So it will run up to 3. And here I want to print the address of an element at ij position. Okay, so I have to declare another variable j. So the outer loop controls the number of row and inner loop controls the number of column. Okay, so in that way we can access it. So if I want to print the address of these elements, then what will happen? Let us check whether it's a contiguous or not. If it's two-dimensional, for I equals to 0, I less than 5, this one is j. Let me print it again. I'm running. Oh my god, sorry.
Sir, J plus plus.
Now check. So the address of element ARR00, then ARR01, ARR02, ARR, then the next one is ARR10, 11, 12, then ARR20, 21, 22. You can see that the address which is being allocated, it's a single block. Even if the array is two-dimensional, we have discussed the row measure and column measure order. So this is being allocated in row measure order. Okay, then the first iteration I equals to 0, j equals to 0. Second time j equals to 1. Okay, so the first element is 0 0, then 0 1, then 0 2. Now you can see that the addresses are consecutive, so it's a row measure allocation. Okay, any more clarification is needed in this section?
No, sir.
Okay, so if we allocate, so when we are going to declare multi-dimensional array, these dimensions are to be kept here. Okay, but in dynamic memory allocation the things will be different. We will discuss it later when we will discuss pointer. Now I want to take some input. Okay, so if I want to take some input, say I'm going to take input, so I'm providing a message that enter element. Okay, in this matrix or two-dimensional array we can store 15 elements, so enter 15 elements. It will print this message. The user will enter the values. Okay, so to read this I have to use scanf function. Now this value is %d, as its data type is integer, err ij. So using this we can read the values from the user. Okay, now if I want to calculate sum of these elements, so sum of all the elements of this matrix, what can I do? So I have to calculate it. So here I'm just copying this block. This loop will basically calculate sum of the elements. It will calculate sum of the elements. So in the similar way, it will run. So I am going to declare one variable sum. Sum is being initialized by 0, so that garbage is not allocated. So here in this loop, I will use sum plus equals what? A RR IJ. And finally, I want to print this value. So if I want to print this value, so printf, the result will be an integer. So just I'm printing this sum, nothing else. Okay, so we have 5 rows, 3 columns. So enter 15 elements. Say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 15. So sum of these elements is 218. Okay. So in that way, we can access two-dimensional array. Okay. Any confusion here? Do you have any doubt? Okay. So this is the way how we can read the data and store it in two-dimensional array, and this is how we can access the stored data from a two-dimensional array. Okay. Now I am coming to the next part. So what we can do, is there any more thing for this array declaration? I will just copy this program and I will write it in another file. In this program, what I want to do is basically I want to declare the array in different way. Just check whether it will work or not. I'm going to declare an array. So we have used this syntax earlier. We have specified number of rows and number of columns. Okay. Now if I write this and I want to compile it. Okay. So this number of column, this dimension is not known. So it will not compile. Now if I don't give this value and I want to run, again it will not compile. So here I have to specify number of row, number of column. Okay. So both of this dimension, or if it's an n dimensional array, for each and every dimension you have to provide the value, specific value, so that the memory can be allocated for this one. I want to pass this value. I want to calculate sum in other function. Okay, so I'm going to write a function calculate sum. Okay, I want to calculate sum, and I am passing this array ARR. So sum will be calculated and the value will be returned. So I want to store that value in sum. So here I have to define the calculate function. So I'm going to define this calculate function. So calculate function will calculate this value and final result is integer. So this function should return integer value. Okay. So that will be the function body. Now I will write the logic. Now if I want to define this function will receive array as input. So the array type is int arr. Okay, so we can write 5 comma 3 because the same array is being passed here. Okay, using this we can access it, arr 5 comma 3. Okay, so if I want to calculate sum of these numbers, let me open the file which I have just closed. I have just, where this file is being stored, C programming problem solving programs. Current program. This is the, sorry. I want to just copy this logic I have written here. So if I split this, so I will calculate sum of this element. So I will just copy this program and it will be written in this function calculate. So this function will calculate this value. So along with this, so this function will require the variables I and j to be declared, because ij is not declared in this function calculate sum. So I have to declare variable I and j. Okay, it will calculate sum and the result will be created. So another variable needs to be created, sum. So after calculating this, now at the end of this, it will return the value of sum. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So after calculating it, now I want to print the value.
Sir, there will be not an error, sir. The sum variable is a local variable, no, sir. If you do it in outside independent.
Can you repeat your question? The sum
Sir,
variable?
the variable is not globally declared, sir. It will not work in both functions, sir.
Why sum variable is globally declared?
Some variable is not globally declared, sir. It will be an error in both functions. It will not work in both functions.
So, okay, I'm coming to that. So here we have declared this array. I want to copy this program so that we can take some input. Okay, copy this program. So here I will read the values, and after that I will call calculate sum function. In this calculate sum function, array is being passed as parameter. So in a function we can pass something as parameter. Okay, so if we pass them as parameter, then array is being passed to this function as parameter. So if I pass it as parameter, then it will be received here and it will calculate this thing. Now in calculate sum, what are the variables I need? The variables are I, j, I and j. These two variables are required to iterate over the loop. Okay, and the variable sum is declared. So sum is initialized by 0, and all the elements of err ij is being added with sum. Okay, so finally the result will be calculated. This I, j, sum, these variables are local variable. If you declare a variable within a function, these variables are local variable. Main function, what are the variables which are needed? I and j is needed because I and j is needed here for iterating over the loop. Sum is needed because calculate function will calculate something and the result will be returned. So that needs to be stored in a variable. So we are receiving it in some variable. And finally the result is being printed. So we are not using any global variable at this moment. So we have not discussed global variable or different types of scope of variables till now. So whatever we have used till now, these variables are local variable. Either the variables are declared in main function or in other function. Okay. Now what is your question now? Hello? Am I connected?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's the question regarding local variable and global variable? That one.
You are using the same variable in both functions. That's why I was.
Yeah, but if you declare a variable in main function, it is accessible within the main function only. It is not accessible from other function. Scope of a variable is within the block. So if I declare a variable within a function, then it is not accessible from other function. Scope is limited within the function only. Okay. So just as you are asking the things, so if I declare a variable like average, if I declare a variable here, then it's a global variable which can be accessed. You can access this variable from any location of this file. This variable is global variable. You can access it from anywhere. Now you may think that if I declare a variable as global variable, this variable is accessible from both of this function. I don't need to declare I, j and sum in both of this function. Our code size will be lesser. Once these functions, these variables are declared as global variable, the variables can be used from both of this function. We don't need to redeclare it. But still, you should not use global variable. Okay. So don't use global variable. Try to avoid it until there is a necessity. If your requirement says that you have to use global variable, then only you can use global variable. Otherwise, never use global variable. Okay. Do you know why we say that global variables should be avoided. Why you are silent today?
No, sir. So we are listening, sir. So, but sir, we don't know. So like global variables are bad for the C.
Basically, I will show you in last few classes that if we work with multi-file program, so instead of till now whatever programs we are writing, it's a single .c file. If we have multi-file programs, that means I have a project where multiple .c programs are there. So if we have that kind of application, so lots of files are to be included according to the requirement. It will create a problem. So global variables, as these are accessible from outside, and these things are also accessible from other function, other files. So it will create a mess if you do not manage it properly. So that's why instead of declaring a variable as global, declare the variables as local variable. If you want to update it, or if the value is needed in some function, then pass it as parameter. But try to avoid declaration of the global variable. Okay. The things will be discussed with some example in last few classes, not at this moment when we will discuss different types of scope. Okay. Now this is the program which we are doing right now. So let me compile it. Yeah, the program will execute successfully. I'm not going to show you the result. The program will execute. Okay. Okay. Now the question is, earlier we have shown that if I declare a array, then this array, in declaration we have to mention the size or dimension of the array. In case of this, when we are receiving this array, we can avoid, we can just keep this. Okay, so if I run this program, say I have to enter 15 elements, so 5 rows, 1 2 3. So here the result is 76, sum of these elements. So the result is 76. Now you can see that the program compiles, program executes, but we have not mentioned any size here. So basically, when we are passing an array to a function, we can skip one of the dimension. And which dimension? Is it any one of this dimension? Like instead of mentioning second dimension, if I write 5 and keep the next one as 3, next second parameter, that means the number of column, if I consider number of row and number of column, if I keep number of column blank, then what will happen? The program will not compile. Okay, so if we skip first dimension, the program will compile, but if I keep blank, the second dimension is kept blank, then the program will not compile. Can you tell me why? And if I write instead of this, if I write that the error, both of them are blank, again it will not compile. It will compile only at that time when the first dimension is blank. In any other case, it will not compile. If the first dimension is blank, then only it will compile. Can you imagine that what's the reason behind this? Are you thinking anything that this can be a reason?
No, sir. So you were saying that
It's a garbage value in the past, first,
but
oh, yeah, and
but sir is
second
saying
one
nothing
it
will
is
come. So garbage value kotheke asse?
I'm not talking about garbage value. The program will compile successfully and it will run successfully. So there is no such problem of garbage value. But the thing is, you can just, I think you will never forget if I can show you. Just a minute. Say, when the parameter is being passed, the array is being passed to the function, then at that time, size of the array is known by the function. Okay, so when you have declared this array, the array is basically 5 cross 3. So 5 number of rows and 3 columns. Okay, so this is ARR 53. Okay, now when it is being received, so when it will be passed, it will be treated as a one-dimensional array. So logically, it represents two-dimensional array, but actually, it's nothing but the, what's the structure of this? Actually, how the things are stored in memory. It will be one
So
contiguous memory.
continuous.
Yeah. So it's nothing but a contiguous. It's nothing but a contiguous memory. Now, if it's a contiguous memory, so the thing will be received by a function. So when it will be received by the called function, okay, that means in previous case, calculate sum. So when it will be received by that function, what will happen? Oh. So when it will be received, just a minute. So when it will be received by a function, then at the receiver end, we are writing ARR. The first one is blank. The first one is blank and second one is 3. So this one, this value indicates number of columns. Okay. So if a contiguous memory block is being received and number of column is known in, and it is in row measure order. Okay. So if it is in row measure order, so this is a block. So easily it can be splitted that after first 3 elements, as the number of column is 3, so first 3 elements are in first row, then second 3 elements are in second row, it's row 2, it's row 1, then next 3 elements they are in row 3, In that way, you can split it. But if I pass, so when I'm providing this array, so when a function will receive this array, at that time, if I receive it as err 5 blank, how will you split it? Think. In previous case, number of column is known. If number of column is known, we can easily just understand that 3 elements will be kept in a row. Number of column is 3. So 3 elements are present in a row. So we can just split it as 3 next 3 next 3 like this. Now in this case, if number of row is known, number of column is not known, can you split it?
No, sir.
Because total length of this array is not known in
No,
advance.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Length of this array is not known in advance. If the length of this array in C programming, we don't know what is the actual length of this array until we pass it. Okay, so if err 5, then we know that in this total memory 5 rows are there, but how many elements are present in a row, that's not known. So compiler will be confused, so it will never be able to determine number of columns.
স্যার তাহলে তার মানে স্যার যদি আমরা শুধু রোটা দিয়ে রাখি কলামটা না দিই তাহলে স্যার হয়ে যাবে
না
Go-
না হচ্ছে না তো।
না স্যার আমি বলছি স্যার উল্টোটা যদি হয়, যদি 3টা দিয়ে রাখি 5টা যদি না থাকে তখন হবে।
হ্যাঁ, in that case it can be processed. We have checked it also. We have just checked it, this program.
স্যার তখন কি করা হচ্ছে স্যার? তখন কি শুধু একটা ওটাই ক্যালকুলেট করছেন? স্যার তখন কি করা হচ্ছে?
তখন হচ্ছে এইভাবে যে this is err blank and 3. Okay, so that means number of column is 3. So number of column যদি 3 হয়, if number of column is 3, so 1 2 3, so in a row there will be 3 column. So
Yes, sir.
up to 3 it will be row 0, then next 3 elements 1 2 3 it will be row 1.
বাস ওটা তো আমি জানি না কতদূর করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, So ওটা তো
কতদূর
চলতে
হবে
থাকবে,
আমি
sir.
জানি না, যতক্ষণ তুমি প্রোগ্রাম চালাবে ততক্ষণ হবে। Like
Yes, sir.
in this case, let us consider that I don't know if the number of column is not known to me. If I run it up to 6, yeah, it will run.
Okay, sir. বুঝতে পেরেছি।
In that case, it will print some garbage value. Okay, just like this. So some garbage value will be added with this. Say, I'm just putting 1. Because in the last row the values are not given, so in the last row
Yes.
the values are garbage. You are trying to
Yes.
access some memory location which is not available, you have not allocated it. But in C there is no such error. In Java, those who are familiar with Java, you know that if you want to access an element outside of the scope, then it will print, it will show you that it's an array index out of bound. But in C programming, we don't have that control. If you have allocated a memory block for 10 elements and you want to store 20 elements, if the space is available, it will write that data, it will store that value. But if the space is not available, then it will print you some garbage value. Sometimes system may hang. Okay, if you overwrite in this type of problem, if you overwrite the system data, okay, or code block, then the program will be terminated unexpectedly. Okay, so if number of column is known, number of row can be determined if total number of elements are known. But as we have discussed here, that if number of row is known but number of column is not known, it's not possible to split the array into multiple rows. Okay, that's why when we are writing this program, if I want to receive the parameter, I can just keep just only the first dimension can be kept blank, not more than one, and obviously not from any other position. Only the first dimension can be kept blank during receiving this data as a parameter. Any
Sir.
confusion? Yeah.
So if the array would have been in column measure format, then we could have given only the first parameter.
Yeah. Yeah. If in that system, or if you are using any system where column measure format is being used, then it will not accepted. This format which are compiling and executing here, this one will not be accepted. In that case, number of rows should be specified, and the last field of this dimension can be blank. Just the opposite of this. As we are using row measure order, that's why the thing is like this, which we have shown. If it's a column measure order, then the things will be just opposite of this. The last dimension can be kept blank, but rest of the dimensions must be filled.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we don't have time. We are almost at the end of the session. Okay. So we will discuss the things in the next class. So if you have any question here, we can discuss in 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, I will take your attendance.
স্যার তাহলে সেকেন্ড সিএ সিলেবাসটা কি কি থাকবে?
Second CA.
Yes, sir.
Up to array.
স্যার ফার্স্ট সিএতে যেগুলো ছিল স্যার সেগুলো কি ইনক্লুডেড থাকবে না স্যার, সেগুলো এক্সক্লুড করে তারপরে এগুলো হবে?
না সব included.
Yes.
Everything will be included. One thing just I want to mention, I think you have also, SP sir has taught you approximately 10 classes in first sem.
Yes, sir.
So you know number format, arithmetic operations, those things.
Yes, sir.
Okay, those things will be included in syllabus.
Okay, sir.
If complement, one's complement, that one, sir.
Yeah, two's complements, one's complement, then numeric multiplication of two numeric values. Okay. So those things will be in your syllabus. Do you have any other query?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So you can join in the next class. I am ending it here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.